What is this for?
I'd like to call to order the April 14th meeting of the Shelby Township Planning Commission. Ask the secretary to call the roll, please.
Yes. Mr. DeShaw?
Present.
Mr. Long?
Here.
Ms. Baker?
Here.
Ms. Casali?
Here.
Mr. Turner's absent. Mr. Pone's absent. Mr. LeRae is absent. Chairman Moffett, we have a quorum.
Great, thank you. First item, approval of the agenda.
So move.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is approval of the minutes from the March 10th meeting.
So move.
Is there
Support.
Moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Correspondence from the City of Sterling Heights, their master plan adoption. I'll call on the planner to comment.
Great, thank you, Chairman. The City of Sterling Heights is in the process of adopting their master plan. This is the final step in this process, and they are bound by the Michigan Enabling Act to notify the abutting municipalities in which this letter of theirs is doing such. So no concerns here. Back in February, I updated the board on their proposals. It's consistent with the land uses that are on the north side, which is Shelby Township. No concerns there.
Thank you. Any questions for the planner? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to receive and file.
Mr. Chairman, I move to receive and file the notice of Sterling Heights Master Plan adoption.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Do I need a roll call on this one, Bob? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, site plan number 25-07, John Miram for John Development. Is there the petitioner? Anyone who speaks will need to state your name and address for the record and then sign in when you're done speaking, please. When you're done. Yeah, keep it moving.
Good evening. How are you?
Good. So what are you requesting of this body?
I'm here on behalf of Mr. John Merrim,
And your name is?
Shaheen Boomaroon with Technical Group.
Okay.
We're the engineering architectural company that did the schematic drawings for
Okay.
his improvement. As you all know,
How about your address?
I'm sorry, 27300 Haggerty Road, Suite F2, Farmington Hills, Michigan, 48331.
Great, thank you. So what are you requesting?
Well, we're requesting approval for the new facade that was burned down due to a fire. And it's just a simple upgrade of the facade. We're raising that corner about 3 feet and changing the material from the metal that was there to drive it.
Okay. Is there any reason that the work seems to have been already started? I drive by it every day, and I drove, and I looked like, wait a minute.
Well, we tried to do as much demo as we could just for the look and smell.
Okay, so if we deny this, you'll put the awning back up? Okay.
If you want to.
Yeah, okay, very good, yeah. To the planner for your comments.
Thank you, Chairman. And on behalf of the applicant, I just want to note that there was a fire there. So I believe that's part of what they're working on is a cleanup of that property as well. So with that being said.
That's fair. It was a little aggressive, but that's fair.
With that being said, no opposition here. The only thing that the Planning Commission is previewed is the painting of the brick. They're proposing to paint that brick facade. We've done this in the past. This Planning Commission has approved painting of the brick. However, if there's any issues with chipping or what have you of the brick, then it would be up to the applicant to maintain that appropriately and make sure that it doesn't chip.
Definitely, yes.
Because that is something
Absolutely.
that, painting of the brick is prone to chip at times, over time. But other than that, no issues here. There's, like he said, they're adding 3 feet to the top of the building, so I would imagine that.
Just
that
at the
is-
corner side,
just
not the whole,
corner.
yes.
That would screen any equipment, correct? If there's any rooftop equipment, that would also need to be,
Screened,
there's some glazing upgrades, and also the canopies are going to be
painted.
painted and repaired. So no objections on my end with what the applicant is proposing.
Okay, thank you. To the board, does anyone have any questions for the petitioner or the planner? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Casali.
I move to approve the proposed modifications to site plan number 25-07 John Merrim, John Development Incorporated, 50980 Shelby Road, parcel number 23072020219, located on the south side of 23 Mile Road, east of Shelby Road, based on the applicant submitting 8 sets of revised site plan addressing all the site plan review and planning commission comments.
Support.
Moved by Casali, support by Baker. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none. Commissioner Casali?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Deschamps?
Yes.
Commissioner Long?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next item, site plan, special land use, number 24-06, Michael Yaldo. This is a public hearing, so I'll ask the secretary to read the notices published.
Charter Township of Shelby, notice the public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Planning Commission for the Charter Township of Shelby, Macomb County, Michigan, has received a request for approval of site plan special land use. Applicant Michael Yaldo, St. George Property LLC, 3126 Forester Lane, Warren, Michigan, 48092. Proposed use, drive-through restaurant building location, part of parcel 23-07-28-278-006, located south of 22 Mile Road on the west side of Van Dyke Avenue. Site plan number SLU 24-06, Sidwell number 23-07-28-278-006. Legal description is as follows as published. The Planning Commission will meet on Monday, April 14, 2025, at 7 p.m. in the Shelby Township Municipal Building Boardroom, 52700 Van Dyke Avenue, Shelby Township, Michigan, 48316, 586-726-7243, for the purpose of holding a public hearing on the site plan special land use request. The application for the site plan special land use may be examined at the Planning and Zoning Department in the Municipal Building Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Written comments may be submitted to the Planning Commission at the above address prior to the hearing. Oral comments will be heard during the public hearing. This notice is provided pursuant to the requirements of Michigan Public Act 110 of 2006 as amended. Shelby Township Planning Commission, Jerome Moffett, Chair, Raquel Moore, Secretary. This was published in the Macomb Daily on March 26, 2025. There were 76 property owners. 2 applicants were notified by first-class mail on March 25th, 2025.
Thank you. Mr. Kirk, did the publication meet all legal requirements?
Yes, it did.
Great, thank you. And then could you also explain the uses under the present zoning and if this special land use request is appropriate?
This is our C2 district. It's a linear business district. The use, the restaurant is a permitted use, however, a special land use is required for the drive-through. That's why we're here tonight.
Great, thank you. To the secretary, did we receive any correspondence on this request?
No, we did not, Mr. Chair.
Great, thank you. So the format for the public hearing will be as follows. The petitioner will come up, state what they're requesting, their reasons for it, then turn it back to the board. Commissioners can ask any questions that they may have. I'll then open the floor to the public to offer any comments or questions. We will receive those and then bring you back up, the petitioner back up to address anything that's raised by the public. With that, names and addresses, and what are you requesting of the body?
The owner. I'm the owner, Michael Yaldo. So
Can I get your address, please?
my address for the property, my house,
I guess this-
3126 Forester Lane, Michigan, Shelby Township.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty much it's, she talked about it. We're trying to put a separate building, about 2,000 square feet for a drive-through. And we trying to meet the requirement the city requires. So pretty much we work with Zach and get it together.
Okay. Are there any things that you're proposing that are contrary to what the township requires?
Well, the setback and all that, and the green belt, move the trees, do the sidewalk. Pretty much, we agree to
That
that.
comply with all setbacks and
Yeah.
all
Yes.
screening requirements?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Now, do you have a tenant for the building?
Well, I have one called Lee's Chicken, and then he called me in the last second, said our menu is not doing good in the Macomb, So I'm dealing with a part of the group with Boyd. He's always I deal with him. He said that there's too many people will be interested once you get approval from the city.
Okay.
It's not my first one building. I built that 21 in Van Dyke. The corner used to be Big Boy. I demolished it and built it that.
Okay.
So I have a little experience.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Have my engineer here in case any question.
Okay.
My name is Adil George Musa. I am professional engineer. Address 42563 Sterling Heights, Michigan.
Okay.
I am the site engineer for this project. We have worked with the city for all the easements and the parking lots and the opening for the entrances from Van Dyke and from the side road. So it will not affect anything. It is in the corner, east-southeast corner, integrated within the whole building or plaza there. And I think we met everything after 4 or 5 months of work. And let us see his comments, or we are welcome any of your comments.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
To the board, to the board, any questions for the petitioner? Okay. Hearing none, take a seat for a moment. This is the only public hearing the Planning Commission will hold on this special land use request. All remarks will be entered into the record for Township Board evaluation. We are a recommending body. The Township Board will evaluate our recommendation and make the final decision on this request. At this point, if there's anyone from the audience that wishes to come up and offer a comment or ask any questions, now would be the time.
Hello, my name is Greg Hellebuck. I'm in the adjacent property to this.
Can I get your address, please?
To the south. Greg
Can I get your
Hellebuck.
address, please?
Address is 7750 Norris Avenue, Shelby Township.
Okay.
We're the adjacent property to the south. We're the only commercial building on Burton Avenue, or Norris Avenue.
Okay.
We would like to know if there's a possible chance to have with his development, to have allowed easement or sewer access for, we're still on septic. And we're the only building on North Avenue that we would have no access to a Van Dyke sewer.
Okay.
So we didn't know if there's a site plan that could be looked at to see if there's any consideration to have sewer brought in with his development going on.
Okay.
So that's the only reason I'm here.
All right. Fair enough. All right. We'll
Thank
ask
you.
the question. If you could sign in too, please. Anyone else wish to comment? Okay, I'll bring it back to the board. Ask the planner for his comments.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, so as Mr. Rialdo and his engineer identified, the proposal is for a drive-through establishment, that C2 zoning district. And just to address the question about the access for sewers on that property, it's going to be on the southeast corner of the property, and I would expect that they're going to hook into the Van Dyke Avenue sewer system rather than bringing up North Avenue. So I would say there's probably not likely that you'll be able to hook into their sewer because they're going to be hooking off of Van Dyke. And I invite the engineer, Mr. Aldo, to correct me there, but I think that'd probably be their easiest bet as far as sewer access goes. So unfortunately, I do not think this will help you with your access to the sewers.
Okay, we didn't know if the access was coming to the back of the building.
It's going to come from the front off of Van Dyke, according to the plans.
Okay. I just didn't know if there was anything that could be done for his future development for that parcel as well, because there's more room to grow, if I'm not mistaken, on that parcel as well.
Yeah, and we can discuss that too at the counter anytime you want to come in. But since this is going to be a lead, not necessarily a dedicated sanitary sewer line, it would just be the lead that hooks into the existing sanitary line.
Yeah, we're just only one building on the whole street, so that's the only issue with it.
Yes, and we can talk that with our Department of Public Works too and see if they have any plans for sanitary in that area in the future.
It's been 35 years already, and I don't see it again. So
Yeah,
don't
I
see
understand.
it's gonna change. There's no other building going on.
Okay. I'll bring their engineer up after we close this to offer, their thoughts.
Yep. So with that being said, this property is zoned C2, that's linear retail business. The properties to the north, south, and east are also zoned similarly. To the west, we have a property that's zoned for single-family uses, and that's R1C zoning district in the township. As far as this site plan goes, it has gone through a preliminary review already, where we addressed a lot of the underlying regulatory concerns that my department had. The site originally was pretty deficient in landscaping, in circulation patterns. The design of the building required some revisions, and then the screening that was discussed earlier. And for all intents and purposes, the applicant has worked hard to address the majority of those concerns from a regulatory perspective that we had. They meet the ordinance regulations for Section 4.27, which applies to fast food restaurants. That concerns the access to a major road, the amount of stacking lanes provided for a drive-through, and making sure the architecture is compatible with the surrounding uses when you add a drive-through to an existing multi-tenant site already. The biggest things that are lacking on the site plan as it is are the street trees along Van Dyke Avenue. Now, I've spoken with the applicant, and I would invite them to correct me if I'm overstepping here, but they have agreed to put a 10-foot green belt along Van Dyke there where they can move the street trees out of the road right-of-way per Macomb County Department of Roads' request. They want us to keep those street trees off the roadways. But we will be able to provide that internally in the lot, so we'll meet the street tree requirements. The applicant has also assured me that they are going to relocate the loading-unloading area from the side yard along North Ave to be behind the building, so that way they can do that by right and no variance will be required there. The applicant has been willing to replace the existing asphalt walk along the south side of the property along North Avenue and replace it with a 5-foot wide concrete sidewalk, which is something the township requires for all these new developments, and that'll add a nice pathway for the property there. Where one doesn't really exist as it is. It's more of just an unkept, asphalt walkway along the driveway or along the parking lot there. With that, the major thing that I do want to draw to the Planning Commission's attention is that the applicant is not able to provide the screening that is required by the zoning ordinance. It's actually one of my comments here. By right, if they were to do a drive-through here, we would require major 1 screening. That would be a 25-foot buffer space, green buffer space. About 7 feet is provided. 6-foot high decorative masonry wall, which is not provided. The neighbors to the west there have an existing wood privacy fence along the property line. And then a minimum of 3 trees per 20 feet with a maximum spacing of 12 feet between the trees and 60% being evergreen. That is provided by the existing mature tree line along the property line. And then the last thing for that major 1 screening is the 4 shrubs per 20 feet, which is not provided by the applicant. So if they were to seek approval for this, the variance that would be required would be from that major 1 screening. Of course, if the Planning Commission recommends approval and the Board of Trustees approves the plan as well. My other comments are more related to the site itself. The first one is that this is kind of a older property, and our zoning ordinance requires that once a building line has been established on a commercial property, in this case, any building in front of that building line must be evaluated by the Planning Commission for consistency of development and make sure it's not causing issues with circulation to the site itself. I think with the circulation plan, the applicants provided a pretty good idea as to how the property can fit this building on it in front of the existing building line. Other than that, regarding the landscaping, on the site plan, the applicant will have to note that all the landscaped areas have to be provided with automatic sprinklers and irrigation. You have to indicate the height of the pole-mounted light fixtures. We have 20-foot maximum. And for the exterior of the building, currently they have some aluminum faux wood paneling on the side of the structure. Now, that was for the original tenant that they had chosen there. But as it is now, they're going to be bricking the entire structure, so there would be no concern as far as approving metal siding or anything like that. It'll be an entirely brick structure. The last thing I want to bring up would be the outdoor dining area. If you do decide to go forward with an outdoor dining area, we'll have to provide renderings on how that'll be separated from the drive lanes and parking. Typically, that's done with fencing or planters or something similar to that. But that's to be shown in the site plan as well. Other than that, that's the only comments I have for this site.
Okay. So, what would your recommendation be then on sort of the failure to meet the screening requirement? I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, in part was they wanted to maintain some of the older, mature.
Yes. So in my discussions with Mr. Yaldo and his engineer, that the intent there was to maintain the existing tree line because it is pretty mature, it is very thick as it is. And a concern, not from just their perspective, from Ultimate Township perspective, is that any work done within that green belt is going to disrupt the root systems for those trees. It's probably going to cause some major distress for those trees, if not just downright destroy the trees. So it's up to the Planning Commission to offer either a favorable recommendation or unfavorable to the Zoning Board of Appeals on if that's an acceptable screening or not. That'll go a long way. But as far as, the site as it is, we do not have any enforcement issues for noise, nuisance, or light pollution. even having the parking spots right across that western property line there. So with the addition they're having, it's about 270 feet, give or take about 10 feet from that west property line. So they're keeping it as far away as possible from that area as I think they can on this site to make it as least impactful as possible to that neighbor over there.
Great, thank you. Any questions for the planner? No? Gentlemen, come back up. Just real quick. No issues with the comments of the planner in complying with his?
We work hard to fulfill everything they requested, especially the sidewalk. It was destroyed by the trees. We're going to cut some of the trees. We're going to replace them and put a new sidewalk for the residential, approximately 500 feet, as they requested, to serve the community behind us.
Okay. And then his assessment of how you're going to access the sewer off of Van Dyke, was that correct?
Sewer is on Van Dyke. There is all the sewer
Okay.
available
All
on
right,
Van
so
Dyke.
there would be no.
If it is possible, we can.
Would you stand a little closer to the mic, please?
We have a plaza, and we have everything, all the utilities are there. We can connect to them, or we can connect directly
Well,
to
the
Van
gentleman
Dyke.
took time out of his day to come out this evening to come out here, so I just want to make sure that we get his question answered. So, all right, thank you. Unless there are any comments or questions from the board, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
Moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Our recommendation this evening must be based on the following: compatibility with adjacent land uses, consistent with and promote the intent and purpose of the special land use, compatibility with the natural environment, consistent with the capacities of public services and facilities affected by the proposed use, protect the public health, safety, and welfare, and the adequacy of public access to the site. At this time, we may recommend approval to the board. We could disapprove the request or table it to evaluate it further. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Moore.
I move to recommend approval to the Township Board for Site Plan Special Land Use Application Number 24-06 for Michael Yaldo, St. George Property LLC, for the property located at 48073 Van Dyke Avenue, parcel number 23-07-28-278-006, located south of 22 Mile Road on the west side of Van Dyke Avenue. Proposed drive-through restaurant building. The applicant demonstrated that the special land use request has met the standards presented in the zoning ordinance section 6.5, special land use standards, and section 4.27 for fast food restaurants with accessory drive-through.
Would you also like to?
You know what, I'd also like to add, sorry for that. The Planning Commission offers a favorable recommendation to the Zoning Board of Appeals to approve a variance to deviate from the required screening and buffer requirements of zoning ordinance section 5.17 due to distance of the proposed use from the residential property line and the existing mature tree line and fencing. Support.
Moved by Moore, support by Casali. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none. Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
Commissioner Casali.
Yes.
Commissioner Deschaux.
Yes.
Commissioner Long.
Yes.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next item, which is also a public hearing, site plan final PUD number 25-06, Simon Morrow for Mar Lake Investments. I'll ask the secretary to read the notices published, please.
Charter Township of Shelby, notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Planning Commission for the Charter Township of Shelby, Macomb County, Michigan, has received a request for final approval of the following planned unit development. Applicant Simon Morrow, Mar Lake Investments, LLC, 51401 Times Square Drive, Shelby Township, Michigan, 48315. Proposed use, Marketplace Apartments. Final planned unit development, 6 floors, 167 units. Location, vacant parcel north of Hall Road, west of Hayes Road. Final site plan PUD 25-06, Sidwell number 23-07-36-400-091. Legal description is as follows as published. The Planning Commission will meet on Monday, April 14th, 2025, at 7 p.m. in the Shelby Township Municipal Building. Boardroom, 52700 Van Dyke Avenue, Shelby Township, Michigan, 48316, 586-726-7243, for the purpose of holding a public hearing on the final planned unit development application. The final planned unit development application and site plan may be examined at the Planning and Zoning Department in the municipal building Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Written comments may be submitted to the Planning Commission at the above address prior to the hearing. Oral comments will be heard during the public hearing. This notice is provided pursuant to the requirements of Michigan Public Act 110 of 2006 as amended. Shelby Township Planning Commission, Jerome Moffett Chair, Raquel Moore Secretary. This was published in the Macomb Daily on March 26, 2025. There were 146 property owners and one applicant were notified by first-class mail on March 25th, 2025.
Great, thank you. Mr. Kirk, did the publication meet all legal requirements?
Yes, it did.
Great, thank you. Format for the public hearing will be similar to what we just walked through. Petitioner or representative will come up, state what they're requesting, their reasons for it, then allow the board to ask any questions of the petitioner. I'll then open it up to the floor to anyone that wishes to offer any comments or ask a question. We'll then bring the petitioner back up to respond to anything that may be raised. With said, name and address.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
members of the commission. Tom Callis, I'm here representing the applicant, the developer. My address is 31350 Telegraph Road, and that's Suite 201 in Bingham Farms, Michigan. We're here this evening seeking the Planning Commission's recommendation for final approval of this PUD development. It's across from the Costco Center on Hall Road. It's a 6-story multi-family building. We were here approximately 2.5, close to 3 years ago, where we received preliminary PUD approval to proceed. Since then, we've been working with the township, the engineers, the planner. We've revised the plan subsequently. We have received final engineering approval, no objections from the Macomb County Public Works Office, no objections from the Department of Roads, Fire Department approval. We meet all setbacks, all parking requirements. There will be approximately 167 units in the final plan. Those are 59 one-bedroom units and 108 two-bedroom units. Amenities that will be offered will include a rooftop pool, sitting area, bar area. It's going to be a very nice development in an area that's fit for it. There's demand, obviously for multifamily, and it's a permitted use under the C5 zoning. And we would ask for your recommendation tonight to go to the board for final approval. I do have the developer here, the architect, if you have any questions. We also have a video ready for presentation if you'd like to see it. We're ready to answer any questions. Thank you.
Great. I'll bring it back to the board. So I guess the first question will be, does anyone want to see the video?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll defer to those more technically
You paid him to come here. We may as well put him to work.
technically literate.
That concludes the, do you want me to keep it going? Or
That's fine. That's fine. Thank you. Oh, unless Commissioner Caselli wants to see it again.
Nope, thank you.
You're good. Thank you. To the board, are there any questions for the petitioner? Seeing none. This is the only public hearing the Planning Commission will hold on this PUD request. All remarks will be entered into the record for Township Board evaluation. We are a recommending body, and the Township Board will make the final decision off of that recommendation. At this time, anyone from the audience is free to offer any comments or ask any questions. Going once, going twice. Bring it back to the board and ask the planner to offer her comments.
Thank you, Chairman. This is the second step in the PUD process. The applicant was here in 2023, like as Mr. Callis stated, received preliminary PUD approval from this board and also the Township Board. Since then, the applicant has obtained all their engineering approval and county permits. This is just basically a formality at this point because they've been vetted through various departments. The only 3 items remaining is a PUD agreement must be completed, which we've already started with Mr. Callis and our township attorneys. Provide light fixture details for any pole lights and indicate the ground cover at the perimeter of the building. Those are the only few items that are outstanding. As you've seen from the video, there is brick on all sides of the elevation to the top of the 4th floor, and then a mix of materials for the rest of the way. They meet all the PUD requirements, and I don't have any objections to the proposal at this time.
Great. Does anyone have any questions for the planner? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
Support.
Moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Basis for our motion are the following. Compatibility with adjacent land uses, consistent with and promote the intent and purpose of the special land use. Compatibility with the natural environment, consistent with the capacities of public services and facilities affected by the proposed use. Protect the public health, safety, and welfare, and adequacy of public access to the site. At this time, we can recommend approval, disapprove the request, or table it. Do I have a motion? Commissioner Casale.
I move to recommend approval to the Township Board for site plan and final plan unit development approval number 25-06, Simon Morrow, Mar Lake Investments LLC for Marketplace Apartments, vacant parcel number 23-07-36-400-091, located at the southeast corner of Lakeside Boulevard North and Market Street, based on the following. Number 1, the proposed plan is consistent with the Shelby Township Center plans approved in 1996. Number 2, adequate access is provided to the site from Lakeside Boulevard North and Market Street. And number 3, the proposed development will complete the development in this area of the township that was originally approved in 1996.
Support.
Moved by Casale, support by Moore. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none. Commissioner Casale?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Deschamps?
Yes.
Commissioner Long?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Good luck, gentlemen. Next item is 2024 annual report from the Planning Department. Boy, this should be interesting.
Thank you,
This should be
Chairman.
brief. No.
Thank you, Chairman. So Section 19 of the Michigan Planning Enabling Act requires the Planning Commission to complete an annual report to the legislative body concerning its operations and the status of planning activities, including recommendations regarding the actions by legislative body relating to planning and development. So the annual report identifies the amount of development that has occurred in the community during the past year and other accomplishments. During the past year, the Planning and Zoning Department processed 764 applications. This represents an increase from 323 applications from 2023. This is largely due to sign applications. We amended our ordinance for temporary signs, so this created this additional work for us, but happy to do it. So. With that being said, if you noticed, temporary signs have really diminished in the township, and we have them sort of on rotation, if I may. With that being said, the Planning Department, along with the Building Department and the Code Enforcement, have been developing administrative processes as well. Over the past year, we've combined those 3 departments, and we are trying to break down the silos. So we are streamlining our administrative processes in-house and also to the public as well. So the Planning Department has implemented the BSNA, like the Building Department and the Assessing Department. So we've moved in a path where we are accepting more applications online and a lot more collaborative between the Building Department as well. So they are able to see all of our applications without us having to, minimal interaction, and they can look things up easily. We are all sharing the same database now, along with the assessing department. The other projects that the planning department works on is community visioning. The municipal campus development plan is an ongoing process that we've been working on over the past few years. Blight initiative program with the code enforcement department, CDBG projects. Over the past 5 years, we've been granted all of our CDBG projects and accumulated over $300,000 a year in those projects. Mostly sidewalk projects or crossing projects, ADA sidewalk projects. We work with the financial department with the capital improvement plan, and also our ordinance amendments we do on a yearly basis as well. We're continually updating and expanding the GIS system, thanks to Nick over here. He's very good in that field, so Nick's always assisting the clerk's office as well with their mapping systems and their precincts as well, so assisting them. The annual report also provides a summary of long-range planning accomplishments, zoning ordinance changes initiated by this planning commission and other departments as requested. So,
Okay,
thank you.
Any questions for the planner? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to receive and file.
Motion to receive and file the notice of
And a report.
the annual report for 2025.
Thank you. Is there support?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. There's nobody in the audience, so when we're entitled, one more motion would be appropriate.
Motion to adjourn.
There we go. Is there support?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.